Here's how you can create your own pipeline for transforming your existing 3D meshes into 2D icons, all from within Unreal. First, making a plugin to keep things properly separated. I already have this made, so continuing from here. Now, including these modules. For the code, we'll quickly skim the files to get to the fun part, starting with the automatically created .h and .cpp. Creating a new header, iconforge types.h, to define all the data needed for this plugin, such as all the types of assets we can use as effects. A new pair of header and cpp. For the header, declaring the needed functions and variables to fit into the pipeline, and getting into the secret sauce, a quick overview of what makes this whole thing tick. Capture effects from level. This is the trick that makes the whole plugin work. Set up lights and props in your actual level, tag them, and this function photographs the setup. But here's the cool part. It doesn't store world positions. It stores positions relative to the subject's mesh radius. So if you lit a chair beautifully with 3 spotlights, that same lighting setup automatically looks right on a tiny potion bottle or a massive door. Everything scales properly. Refresh stage transform, the fast drag path. While you're dragging a light around in the viewport, the plugin doesn't redo the whole capture, rebuild, render pipeline. It instead just grabs the transform of the rig's existing light components, makes them into new positions, and re-renders. Build rig. The lights are the interesting part here. Instead of storing 5 or 6 handpicked properties per light, the capture serializes every single new property on the light component into a string map. Build rig then deserializes them back onto a fresh component. Render icon pixels. 2-pass capture. First pass grabs raw radiance with no tone mapping, reads back the pixels, computes log average luminance across the whole image. Well, lots of fancy words, but really what this means is that the first pass measures how bright the scene is. Second pass re-renders with that exposure baked in. Compute icon hash. The whole setting struct gets serialized to text combined with the mesh path all into a hash. A hash is like a receipt for that exact icon. The receipt gets saved onto the texture, reruns the batch, it checks the receipt. So imagine for a 200 mesh batch where you need to change just one preset value and then re-render everything, iconforge turns a 20-minute job into seconds. Lastly, let's check the widget. This details view at the bottom holds all of the data we defined, whilst the image on the left allows for the preview. Now for the events and functions, nothing special here, just calling the functions for each button or property. And overriding the on mouse event to allow rotating and orbiting directly in the preview. Here are some of the ones I slapped together in a few minutes, modeling mode and posing them in the iconforge. So, in conclusion, tag some things in your level, tweak what you need to make it look presentable, and batch render your meshes to icon. That's iconforge for you. Thanks for watching.